The Holy War. Let's go to the Holy War and let's preview this one. Before we do so, let's remind you to shop our great partner over at Frost Buddy. Somebody do me a favor and throw that QR code up on the screen. It's going to go above Reese's beautiful head and nice cap.
Flavor during the ad read.
Yes, scan that QR code. Get to frostbuddy.com/PTFS. Find your universal Frost Buddy. Keeps your drinks cold all season long. Scan that QR code right now. Find your team. They got the university collection. That's, of course, what we're going to tell you to get. Follow along with your college football team. Keep your drinks cold all season long. When you're home gating, when you're tailgating, it doesn't matter. Keep them cold with frostbuddy.com/PTFS. All right, gents. Marquee matchup of the week, the Holy War. Of course, Utah at BYU. A very American-styled colored matchup we have in front of us. This should be a hell of a lot of fun. A 3-point line in favor of the Utes on the road against a ranked BYU team. First ranked-on-ranked matchup for the Holy War in quite some time. It's going to be a dogfight race. Where do you see it?
Yeah, when you're looking at Utah and like kind of the success they just had last week against Arizona State. Yes, you didn't have Lev in that game, but you also ran the hell out of the football. You ran it 42 times for 276 yards. And like when this offense is cooking and grooving, it's when Dampier is using his legs and that offense is moving and grooving and they can do kind of their own things. And then you look across the way, yeah, it's in Provo, and this BYU team is 6-0. Bear Bachmeier, true freshman quarterback. I just think if you look at their wins, like I don't know if they've barely been tested like this Utah team has. Yes, they played Texas Tech at home, or Utah played Texas Tech at home. That game kind of got away from it at the end. It was a battle for the most part, but then just kind of got away from it at the very end there. But this Utah team has been tested. They've played a better competitions. BYU has beaten Arizona, Colorado, West Virginia, East Carolina, Stanford. And I think the other one was like Portland State. But these other games, this middle to kind of the lower pack of the Big 12, they're beating. They're not like blowing the doors off them. They beat Arizona by 6. I think they beat Colorado by a field goal. West Virginia, I believe they beat by 14. But like they're not just completely dismantling these teams like you would expect this, a BYU 6-0 team to be doing. It's kind of just the issue too. Like you have that true freshman, wearing number 47 too, kind of an oddity there. We're going to talk about that too for this team. But I just think Utah, you got Kyle Whittingham, you got a team going on the road who's been tested more. I think they're going to go on and get theirs. They're going to run the football extremely well. Like this BYU defense has looked good. Like they're only giving up like about, I think it's like 160 yards per game on the ground. But have they faced a good run attack yet? I don't think they have. They haven't seen a quarterback like Dampier or an offensive scheme like Utah's going to have. So I think Utah's going to get it going early and often on the ground. I think they're going to establish themselves. We'll know by the end of the first half. I think if BYU is going to be able to kind of stick around and make this a football game, I think they're going to get their points. They're still going to make this game competitive towards the end. But I think it's Utah all the way in this one on the road.
I like that feeling. I think when you look at these two teams and what they've done, especially in matchups like this in big game scenarios, they've made the big plays. They've had the big long touchdown runs, the kick returns, whatever it may be. Both of these programs, when they're playing outside of this game, have done that. And something's got to give here. One of the teams has got to come away with it, and it's usually been the home team. So I think BYU may have a couple explosive plays early, but I think it's going to come down to the trenches. And Reese already mentioned it, but BYU hasn't faced a team that's as good as Utah in the trenches, and Utah gave that Texas Tech front some fits at points and kept that game low scoring and close against a really earned top 10 team in Texas Tech. And we're going to get some true freshman mistakes out of Bear Bachmeier this week. We've seen it in the past. He threw a couple of picks last week. I think Utah is going to force him to do a couple of more. But I think if you're BYU, the recipe for success is rushing the football. You have to be able to win some up front to get LJ Martin going, get Bachmeier going. He can run the football too if you haven't watched BYU this year. But them being at home gives me that immediate thought of them getting up early. But usually October football, conference football, the trenches are really the difference maker, and Utah has the edge, which is why the line is where it is pretty heavily. And I think they're going to be in some shock for the physicality of that Utah Utes group, and they're going to be ready to go. So I like the Utes off the rip, but I could be swayed to JP. You got any points for BYU to change me over?
I would just say, like, you guys have touched the run game quite a bit here, but like Utah won't throw the ball if they don't have to. Like, I think he had 12 pass attempts last week. Like, he won't. They won't. There's something to be said here, though. Like, if you're BYU and you know that, come with everything you have and make them be really good to go 75 yards on the ground, right? And then make him beat you through the air, because that has yet to be proven as well. there is a world where BYU knows Utah so well, even though this is a different quarterback than what they've had in years past and a different type of quarterback. You can slow down the run enough to make them, maybe you get them in a couple third and longs in the first or second half or in some key spot and key drives. And then he has to beat you with his arm. There's your recipe for success. With Bachmeier, like, he's going to run the football a ton. I think if we'd be wrong if we weren't sitting here mentioning LJ Martin and how good he's been for this BYU team on the ground.
Right.
If Utah can slow that down, and I think they slow down Tech for the most part until that as soon as that game opened up. But if they can run the ball respectably, I think Bachmeier in the play action game and just an extension of the run game is probably the direction they go. They don't have that true one. They had Kingston on the outside. He's more of a slot guy and a speed guy to hit you. Quick through the middle on some slants or different pieces. He got Arizona last weekend. But if you're looking for where they really can light you up, it is still on the ground game. And maybe, yes, BYU hasn't played the same teams through the trenches, but it doesn't mean they're not going to have a different level of emotion and a different level of we have to get this done. We know what our strength is. We're not going to shy away from it. So even if it's not working to start out, I would urge BYU to stay on it and just try and find their way to work through this whole thing and play off the crowd a little bit. And then, something weird's going to happen. We're at night. We're in Provo. It's one of the bigger rivalries in the country. You don't know what's going to happen. So it's going to be a weird bounce of ball thing. I think this is one of those where you can't sit there and say, it's just going to be strength versus weakness, and this is what's going to happen based on the numbers. This could be a world where Utah can't run the ball worth a lick and BYU can't run the ball worth a lick, and you're dealing with two quarterbacks who have to really sit in the pocket and throw it around. Then you have no idea what's going to happen, right? Who makes the mistake first? Both of them prone to the mistakes. So it's going to be fun. I think this is one of my favorite ones of the weekend.
Yeah, I think you made a good point there at the end. They both are mistake prone, and the defenses both have their highlights on them. Like, both defenses have been good, and especially late in games. So I think it goes one of two ways. I think we either see a BYU get off, make that big kind of play at the beginning of the game, whether it be a punt return, kick return, big long pass, that place is going nuts, and then they settle in, or it's going to be a defensive dogfight and it's 0-0 at the end of the first quarter and probably midway through the second quarter. Like, it definitely has the capability to do so. And these rivalry games, the lines don't matter. Some of the times the matchups go out the window. Like, Lord knows what's going to happen. And that's why it's the holy war. So let's go to picks. Who's going to win this matchup? We have score predictions for this one. JP, you're going to lead us off. So a lot of pressure, marquee matchup. Who do you think is going to win the game? You got BYU, you got Utah. What's the score going to be?
I got Utah on this one, but I think this is going to be a lot more fun, a lot high scoring. I think both offenses are going to get theirs. You're going to go 34-30 Utes. Let's have a little fun. Like, let's light up the scoreboard a little bit. Let's get weird in Provo late. This is going to basically come down to who can have the bigger play more consistently and sustain drives longer. And I'm going to take Utah in this situation.
I really thought this one thoroughly through. And I was like, where have I sat down on my couch late at night, mountain time, and watched a team that I didn't think was going to win a football game have some massive plays where I'm sitting there going, how am I so wrong? I watch this sport every week. And this game was that. So I had to go against my own thoughts from the past. I like BYU. Those explosive plays, I think it's more likely they're going to get up early, have those punt returns, have something crazy, block, punt, touchdown, something crazy to get Provo up and going. It is an incredibly tough place to play. And if there's anywhere that it's going to be a game that doesn't go the way it should based upon the talent and what a team wants to do, it's a rivalry game in college football. So give me BYU at home to stay undefeated, 27-24. I like him in a close one, walk-off field goal style. Hell, even a 2-point win, it would make sense in my mind in this style of game. That's just what college football is, and it can't stray off that as much as the transfer portal and conference realignment wants to change it. Reese.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kyle Whittingham in this defense. I think they're going to try to confuse Bear Bachmeier, the true freshman, probably the biggest game he's going to play in this year so far. Confuse him pre and post snap. Is it zone? Is it man? Where the hell am I going? Go to my second or third read. Like you talked about, Parks, make him to make those mistakes. And if he does make those, let your offense run the football as long as they can be successful. Dampier, he just can't give right back to him. I think Utah in this one goes on the road, gets a big win. BYU sticks around in it, but I think it's Utah all day. They're going to get the ground game going, and I think Bachmeier is just going to have more of a challenge than he's had so far this year with this Utah defense.
All right, there it is. 2 on the Utes, 1 on BYU. JP has them covering, so does Reese. So it's straight up against the spread if they're going to win the game or not, even though the line's 3 in favor of the Utah. So if you're joining us for this marquee matchup clip, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop your score prediction in the comments. We want to hear from you. Both of these fan bases are great. It's going to be a hell of a matchup in Provo. That place is going to be a nut house. So appreciate you for joining this clip.